rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events. This is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. I am your host, Rick, and I'm no longer floating. Sorry. I tried to hit the button to start the stream at exactly 5 minutes to the hour. I have like 4 clocks. 5 clocks, now that I count them in my head. 5 clocks that are in between me here and the place where I was. None of them are on. None of them are on time. And so I thought I had plenty enough time to get there and do what I had to do. We'll leave that to your imagination. But anyway, do what I had to do and get back. And, well, yeah, 2 minutes and 2 seconds is not enough. Anyway, all right, let's get into tonight's show. So tonight, got a couple of things. We've got a couple more entries into the Moron files. You know, I'm not really paying attention to them. I'm not really taking track of them, but it would be kind of interesting. And maybe I should devise some sort of like an award system. Yeah, it's something like the Olympics. Maybe call it, I mean, I don't want to steal anyone's thunder, but, you know, sort of like the Dopey Olympics or something like that. And give them like a silver or like a bronze, silver, gold medalist kind of thing. Maybe if I get creative over the Christmas holiday, I'll do that. That's when I'm I'll be taking some time off, not from the show, but taking some time off from my regular 9 to 5 to do some things, and maybe we'll see. I'll see what I can come up with. But anyway. Oh, all right. The flying fickle finger of fate. Oh, okay. Well, that would be kind of an interesting thing. But anyway, maybe we should put our heads together. All you Whiskey Warrior P1s could put your heads together and give me some ideas to try and get the thing going, because I got to tell you, they are dopey. They're morons. There's a couple of them in tonight's little deal. But let's go ahead and get things kicked off first. Of course, is the Pledge of Allegiance tonight. It is definitely not Karen who is up on tap for tonight's pledge. So if you are of mind, please stand. Remove your hats if you're wearing one like me. Place your hand over your heart and follow along with Definitely Not Karen as he recites the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And, of course, I thank you, Definitely Not Karen, for providing us with that pledge. If you would like to hear your rendition of the pledge played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself reciting or performing the pledge in your style. Take that audio file, video file, whatever kind of file that is generated, and either attach it to an email or share it to me. You can send it off to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online, and I will get you into the rotation as soon as possible. Right now, I am looking for a number 20. I have 19. I need 20 because I like even numbers. So get that over to me if you're of willingness to go ahead and do that and send it off to me. Send it to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. All right, let's get to tonight's headline sponsor, which is the Institute on the Constitution. The Institute on the Constitution was established in 2004 as a 501c3 nonprofit with one singular mission, and that is to restore the constitutional republic through grassroots education. All courses and materials are developed using primary source documents and taught from the American view of law and government as defined in the Declaration of Independence in the following 3 key points. 1, there is a God. 2, our rights come from him. And 3, the purpose of civil government is to secure and protect our God-given rights. The IOTC offers the opportunity to educate yourself on our most precious founding document, the Constitution of the United States. They also provide tools to educate your community and get involved with local government. Start by taking their free U.S. Constitution course and go from there. Use my affiliate link, iotc.americanperspective.online, to sign up, and while you are there, take a moment to look through their other course material and information. My affiliate link, once again, is iotc.americanperspective.online to get great content to learn about our historical founding and support the show in the process. That's iotc.americanperspective.online. Or, if you just want to purchase this fabulous Saddleback leather-bound U.S. Constitution to support the show, go to constitution.americanperspective.online. It's got, as my rumblers always say, sexy rounded corners. Each purchase, according to 3 Chevy, of the aforementioned rounded corner leather-stitched book will give a liberal explosive digestive issues. I'm not exactly sure I want to see that, but that's okay. Trust me, they don't like this thing. I'm telling you, leftist liberals don't like this thing. But anyway, let's take a little bit closer look at it. It's got an 1/8 of an inch of Saddleback leather wrapped around pages that are water and tear resistant. No cheap glue here, folks. It is stitched all the way through the leather and the pages contained within. It's got a 100-year warranty against materials and manufacturing defects, such that if there is a problem with this thing, you can send it back to the manufacturer and they will either fix it or replace it for free. It's materials and manufacturing defects, by the way, in case I didn't mention that. It is Buddy tested, Buddy approved. It is Billy tasted, Billy approved, and my youngest whiskey warrior has confirmed that the information contained within will help you to study for your civics badge in Scouts. Not to mention, it'll also help you study for your civics exam if they still have those. Go to constitution.americanperspective.online and get this fabulous book. You know, Christmas is coming up, and I'm telling you, you want to get a stocking stuffer for that leftist in your life, or you want to get a stocking stuffer for that conservative person in your life. This book does both. You'll have fun watching the leftists try and destroy it, because believe me, these things are really built well. And the conservative will, of course, thank you and will definitely sit there and admire its quality. So go ahead and head off to constitution.americanperspective.online and get yours today. Also, too, don't forget to check out the rest of the U.S. Constitution, the Institute on the Constitution's show, the rest of the Institute on the Constitution's offering. Sorry, I was handling a troll in the Rumble chat. Very, very bad languaged troll. Anyway, so yeah, head on over to the Institute on the Constitution and check out their offerings. I thank them for allowing me to be a brand affiliate or an affiliate of theirs. Oh, my goodness. Well, you're not going to believe this. Well, maybe you will. I mean, if you're a conservative in today's day and age, you'll know that the mainstream media does not want any good news coming out with regards to Trump and his administration. Period. They just don't want it. And unfortunately, sometimes they have to report on it because it actually, is something that is quite amazing in some cases. So here is some good economic news, folks. Some economic news. Yes, I know. It's everybody's sitting here talking about the economy at times and is like, when are we going to see all of this wonderful stuff? Well, we're seeing a lot of it happen, but the mainstream media, they're not even reporting on it. But this guy did. I'm actually kind of surprised because it's on CNBC. But let's go ahead and take a listen to this guy. This is what's his name? What is his name? On-air editor Rick Santinelli. Or Santelli, not Santon, Santelli. So let's take a listen to him.
Now, on the GDP side, this is our third time around the block on Q2, and we see a really solid revision, 3.8%. I'm a bit shocked, to be honest. Usually the revisions, as you get to second and third, become smaller and smaller. So 3.8% would be the best quarter going back to, and we have to go back a ways here, to 4.4, and that was the third quarter of 23. Now, it is important to point out that if you look at the first quarter final, down 0.5%, there's a balance there. But the balance is moving in favor, and momentum is moving in favor for better growth.
There you go. The momentum is moving in favor. I'm surprised. Again, this is CNBC who reported this. But, Trump's economy is stronger than what it's been predicted. So, I mean, oh my gosh. I don't even understand how these people can do this. I mean, this was probably not even showing up on any of the mainstream media outlets. Newsweek reported that the upgraded growth rate suggests that American consumers are continuing to spend despite economic uncertainty. They got to couch things in sort of a, this is good, but, and they always got to do that. Well, what they also didn't point out, too, was that jobless claims for the week ending September 20th actually fell 14,000 in that week to 218,000. And that was against Dow Jones's economists' expectations of a 4,000 claims increase to 235,000. So maybe something is happening here that is good in terms of the economy. They just can't give the Trump administration any kind of positives at all. They can't do it. And it's just it was just anyway. I don't know, but you know what? We're just going to have to ride the lightning, I guess, as the thing would say. Anyway. All right. Well, let's go ahead and start with the Moron files. Let's start with this first moron. And yes, it is a Democrat. Yeah. So, all right. For those of you that are at least somewhat intelligent about the criminal justice system, there is this function. It's called bail. And what bail is supposed to do, all right, is it is supposed to provide a type of security. A type of security to ensure that the defendant will actually return for trial. So if you're released under bail, the general practice is that whatever your bail is set at, whatever your bail is set at, you need to come up with roughly 10% of that. And, you know, to be able to, whatever the dollar amount is. So, you know, if it's $100,000, you got to come up with $10,000, and et cetera, et cetera. You can do the math. But the key of this is the fact that the amount, that money, is to ensure that the person comes back for trial, that they're going to appear for trial, and of course any pretrial hearings that are all happening, in which they must be present. Now, generally speaking, bail is returned to defendants when their trial is over. In some states, it'll also you'll have a processing fee that you're paying, but I mean, let's face it, if you're spending, you know, $10,000 or more, it's probably, the processing fee is probably not that big of a hit. I don't know, maybe it is. But anyway, the judge or the magistrate, when it comes to bail, decides the amount of bail based on different variety of factors. For an example, the risk of the defendant fleeing. We've all seen it in the you know, law and order type genre. We've all seen it. Oh, well, you're going to surrender your passport in order to make it so that you cannot leave the country. You know, you're going to spend $10 million for bail. You know, all these wonderful things. And of course, bail is also dependent upon the type of crime, whether or not the defendant has any kind of previous criminality that might indicate that the person is a dangerous felon. Keep that one in mind as I tell you what the Moron file is about. And also the safety of the community. Now, occasionally you can see where somebody goes and they say, hey, you know, bail is set, but bail is going to be, you know, returning on your own recognizance because the offense isn't that great. You're not a flight risk. You maybe have ties in the community. You're not a danger to anybody, whatever that is. So, anyway, I just realized this is the second week in a row that I've done this. You guys didn't hit me up. I totally missed the segment, the On This Day in American History segment. My Lord, you guys are falling down on the job. I'm sitting here trying to do a show and get it right. And yeah, I forgot. I'm not going to blame you guys. This is all because of me. All right. So before I get to the stupid files, let me go back and let's get this first segment out of the way. You know, I'm sitting here, I'm holding the book in my hand. I got it right here. Okay, I got it right here. I've also got to talk about what I'm drinking tonight because I missed that too. Oh my gosh, I was just so happy to jump into it. So before we get to On This Day in American History, I'm finishing off my Buffalo Trace. She is going away now. And, of course, tonight it is in the fantastic American Perspective gift glass, the sister of the It Takes Stones to Drink with Whiskey glass, given to me by my wonderful Whiskey Warrior P1s. Fantastic. So here we go. Requisite first sip, of course. Oh, I love that Buffalo Trace, let me tell you. All right. And yes, it did have stones in the bottom in case anybody missed that. There it is. All right. So I got that out of the way, man. I'm just all kind of screwed up. But let's go ahead and get to tonight to the On This Day in American History. And of course, the On This Day in American History, I got to get the teacher glasses out, but On This Day in American History, we read from the American Patriots Almanac, written by William J. Bennett and John T.E. Cribb. It is chock full of all kinds of information, factoids, and so on and so forth about this wonderful country that we call home tonight. September 27th, we're going to talk about 3 symbols of grace and patriotism. So the first one is American Gold Star Mothers. Now, that is an organization of mothers who have lost a son or a daughter in the armed forces. Founded shortly after World War I, the group takes its name from the gold star on the service flag that represents a family member lost in the line of duty. Gold Star mothers dedicate themselves to honoring their deceased children, performing community service, helping veterans, and healing one another. Congress has designated the last Sunday in September as Gold Star Mother's Day. So that would be tomorrow for this year. It's a time to pay respects to these women who show perseverance and grace despite their own loss. We also have the Gold Star Wives, which was founded in 1945 as an organization of military widows dedicated to honoring the memory of those who died for their country. Gold Star Wives help one another face the future with courage and aid the widows and children of soldiers who made the supreme sacrifice. They also promote principles such as justice, freedom, and democracy. Then we have the Blue Star Mothers. Founded in 1942, this is an organization of women who have or have had children serving in the military. The group takes its name from the blue star on the service flag that represents a family member serving in the armed forces. Blue Star Mothers support one another and their children as well as promote patriotism. Those 3 symbols of grace and patriotism are tonight's on this day in American history. See, I knew about the Gold Star Mothers. I think everybody knows about the Gold Star Mothers. I did not know about the other 2, the Gold Star Wives and the Blue Star. My mother was a Blue Star for a time. I guess technically, according to that reading, she still could be because I served. But anyway. All right. Now we're back on track. Oh, yeah. Speaking about that. There's the train. We got off track. Yep. All right. So let's get back to the Moron files. So remember what I was telling you about bail. And in particular, bail can be, decided by weighing many factors. Again, talking about the risk of the defendants taking off, the type of crime that they're being allegedly charged with, the dangerousness of the defendants, and the safety of the community. Well, tonight's Moron files, first entry, is a North Carolina lawmaker. She's a complete, utter moron. I'm just going to say this. And you want to know why she's a complete, utter moron? Well, let me play you the clip of what she said. Now, keep in mind, she's in North Carolina, where Irina, I can't remember her last name. I probably couldn't pronounce it on cue anyway. But where Irina was killed, the young, there it is, Zarutska, by that literally evil man who was released without bail or anything else. But here is Representative Marcia Maury. She's a Democrat. She's a moron. And here she is trying to, let's just say, excuse sort of what happened with the guy getting loose. Let's take a listen. This is about 12 seconds, so it's a really quick clip.
But don't correlate what happened in January and a magistrate who set a bail according to guidelines to what happened in August. There is no correlation.
Dumbass. Yes, there absolutely is. Remember what I just told you. Bail is supposed to be set based on several factors. One of them is the dangerousness of the individual. The other is the crime being charged. The other is any previous history, criminal history. What? How can you not? I mean, this was a short clip. Let's take a listen to this moron and what she says again.
But don't correlate what happened in January and a magistrate who set a bail according to guidelines to what happened in August. There is no correlation.
There's no correlation to the fact that a man, is basically was 14 times he was connected, or 14 times he was arrested. He was convicted for and spent, I think, 5 years in prison. I mean, how in the hell can this person live with herself looking in the mirror? Now, keep in mind, she has been a continued advocate for bail reform. But to sit here and say there's no correlation to the fact that the guy got out with just a note saying, "I promise to return," when he is a diagnosed schizophrenic, a continual habitual offender, yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. No, that's a bunch of bullshit. You're a moron. I'm sorry. No, actually, I'm not sorry. Forget that. Representative Marsha Mori, you are a moron. Welcome to the Moron Files. That's all I've got to say on this. Just welcome to the Moron Files. Because that is probably about the dumbest non-connection, that anybody could actually make in this particular case. What a freaking moron. Oh my gosh. Now, she's maintained, of course, that the current guidelines are designed to ensure fairness and consistency. This guy should not have been out on the street, okay? Period. He shouldn't have been there. And if the magistrate, who wasn't a lawyer, who was also a moron, I mean, seriously, come on, people. This is ridiculous. Totally ridiculous and completely out of whack in terms of the thought processes here. The man was a dangerous career criminal, was arrested 14 times. He should have been locked up and thrown away with the key, at least, or had, some high amount of bail. Because, by the way, if you can't put up bail, you're not going to be released on your own recognizance or anything. If you can't put up bail, you're remanded to jail. So, I mean, this guy, that's total ridiculousness. And for her to sit here and try to say that there's no correlation when the guy was let out under his own recognizance on a wing and a prayer, a written note. Oh boy. I'm surprised they didn't have him have his mama sign it, because believe me, his mother, who came out and said he's a diagnosed schizophrenic and should have been in jail. Yeah, I'm surprised the judge didn't say, if you get a note from your mama. Yeah. Anyway. Anyway, all right. Moving on. So, moron file number 2. Now, look, I'm going to be completely open with you folks. I don't have a high regard for athletes. I really don't. I don't have a high regard for athletes at all. I mean, yes, they are skilled, and yes, they can do things, impressive things at sometimes. But as an athlete, you are literally, especially a professional one, you are literally an entertainer. And what you need to do as a professional entertainer is entertain. Not put a stupid take, oh my gosh, a completely stupid take out on social media. Now, the thing about it is that this woman, she's retired now, okay? She's retired, and she is counted seriously as one of the greats. But why in the hell would you even bother commenting on a decoration in a freaking hotel? Now, the implication is that this is something that she definitely doesn't like. But some people have taken it to where she is attempting in a very backhanded and mum's the word kind of way. She is referring or referencing something to potentially slavery. Now, I don't know about that because I don't think she brings it up directly in the video. But still, just take a look at this. Oh my gosh, what the hell? Why would you even bother making a point about this? Seriously. Anyway, so Serena Williams goes in to a New York City hotel. She is there for a some sort of a conference or event, okay? And yeah, she goes up and she looks at effing decoration. The effing decoration. I just anyway, take a listen to this. This is
all right, everyone. How do we feel about cotton as decoration? Personally, for me, it doesn't feel great.
Who the hell cares? You know, I've spent a lot of my years back in the past traveling, and my brother-in-law reminded me of that on a call this week, a video call this week. He was like, "Oh, you're no longer traveling." I was, "No, I'm not. I'm no longer traveling." But I spent a lot of time traveling. And let me just put it to you this way. Why do you even care? I've seen some seriously ugly hotel decorations, and I really don't give a crap. I'm there to do one thing and one thing only in a hotel. That's shower and frickin' sleep. Okay? After that, who cares? Now, let's keep in mind that this particular type of I'm showing it on the screen for those of you who are on the audio portion of the program. You might want to head on over to rumble.com and get yourself an account. You can watch the video there. But she's sitting there looking at this thing. It's a freaking plant, people. I mean, seriously, it's a freaking plant. My God. I mean, do you care if they have, like, I don't know, ferns or something in it? Just, why? Why? Well, here, she goes even further with this whole thing. She says, "Oh, I'm not too thrilled." So I got to ask you, okay, Serena, did you request them to redecorate the room? Just saying. Did you book the room sight unseen? Because many different hotels will give you representative samples of what their hotel rooms look like online before you book. I mean, you can go to even the hotel website by itself, but you can also do things like, all those specialty websites, hotels.com, et cetera, and at least take a look at the room, or at least a representative sample of a room. I mean, seriously. So here, she's walking and just let's let her finish. My God.
So actually, it feels like no polish remover cotton, natural.
Who the hell And hey, I just want to point this out. I got to tell you, my Rumblers, they're the smartest. They are the smartest audience in all of the interwebs. Ms. T of Texas says it wasn't even in a room. It was in the hallway. Well, there you go. It's right here. It's in the hallway. You can see it's a freaking decoration. Jesus Christmas. I mean, come on. Come on. All she had to do was walk freaking by this thing. She didn't have to say a damn word. And you know what? She's got enough money. Maybe she could pay for the hotel to like recolor her room or whatever. Maybe she can say, "Hey, hotel who I'm paying to stay in, I'm allergic to cotton. So can you make sure that you get rid of everything?" You know, I have a feeling she wears cotton too. I have a feeling she wears cotton. What is the point of this? Seriously, what is the point of this? Is she trying to make it to where she's like, "Oh, you know, I really don't like the decorations here, so I'm never going to stay here again"? Really? Really? You're there for a day, maybe two at the most. You're there for an event. You're going to speak, and then you're going to leave. Why the hell would you even care? Why? And honestly, I mean, why? Why would you even care? Oh, my God. The audacity of these people. The audacity. Anyway. Oh. Well, my chat has gone nuts. That's right. My chat has gone nuts. They're talking about Christmas movies and Die Hard being the best Christmas movie ever. Folks, I'm just going to throw this out there. Die Hard is not the only Christmas movie, okay? But Die Hard is a Christmas movie, but there are two others. You realize there are two others. One of them is Lethal Weapon, the original, and the other is First Blood, the original. All three take place at Christmas. They are all Christmas movies. Just my opinion. Anyway, all right, before we get on here, let's go ahead and talk about the most wonderful thing. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to do this. Let's talk about your 401k. Did you know that the biggest threat to your retirement is not something that's talked about? Okay? Not talked about very often. Our increased longevity in America means default retirement accounts like IRAs, 401ks, and TSPs may not suffice. Yeah, I have an aging parent, and we've kind of discussed a couple of things. So, yeah. Anyway. It says here that if you have over $100,000 in your retirement account, get instant access to a free 2-minute report from Augusta Precious Metals that reveals the one singular step you can take to secure your financial future. Text SAFE, S-A-F-E. Text SAFE, S-A-F-E, to the number 35052 today and learn about that one simple step that you can take today to secure your financial future. I'm going to guess that it's probably purchasing some precious metals from Augusta. That would be a good thing, wouldn't it? So take the one step that you can secure your financial future. Text SAFE, S-A-F-E, to 35052 today to get that free 2-minute report from Augusta Precious Metals that reveals this singular step. Once again, text SAFE, S-A-F-E, to the number 35052 today and find out what Augusta Precious Metals can do for you to secure your financial future. All right. Well, now that we're done with the moron files, let's get on to some real business. So, apparently, yesterday, the Supreme Court went ahead and extended a prior order that allowed the Trump administration to temporarily withhold approximately $4 billion in foreign aid funding that was previously authorized by Congress. Now, the full court granted the federal government's request to impound the congressionally appropriated funds after Chief Justice John Roberts granted an administrative stay on September 9th, allowing the justices more time to consider the request. So here's the thing. The case is the U.S. Department of State versus the AIDS Vaccine Advocacy Coalition and the Global Health Council, and then versus Trump. Now, this time, Justice Elena Kagan, one of the activists, not jurists, filed a dissenting opinion, which, of course, Sotomayor and Ketanji Brown Jackson, the other two activist morons on the court, jumped right on it. I'm going to tell you, it's kind of hilarious to me thinking that every time I read those three names together, knowing that like Elena Kagan and Sotomayor have been chastising Ketanji Brown Jackson because she is like the worst of the three of them, it just brings a smile to my face for all of that. But anyway, so the Department of Justice had previously asked the justices to pause a ruling in the Washington-based U.S. District Court Judge Amir Ali, who ordered the federal government to spend the $4 billion previously appropriated funds before they expire at the end of the current federal fiscal year on September 30th. Well, the Supreme Court has extended that order. Now, let me explain something to you. These kinds of tensions in the Supreme Court are not just whims out of, thin air, whipped up out of thin air, okay? There is this thing. Now, I don't know legally how, accurate or how honestly, how legal this thing actually is, because as a strict constitutionalist, of course, we do know that Congress controls the purse strings, meaning that Congress controls the money that flows from the collected taxes out to the important parts of where they were supposed to be. However, that being said, there is a question with regards what's known as impoundment. Now, impoundment comes from Section 3 of Article 2, and it basically says, and this is where the impoundment comes in, that the president shall take care that the laws be faithfully executed. So, in the process of executing those laws faithfully, there have been a couple of historical instances where presidents have taken that to literally mean, hey, if we don't have to spend the funds, we're not going to. For an example, and this is the first recorded incident of impoundment. President Jefferson established this first faint outline of the idea of impoundment by reporting that $50,000 in funds, which Congress had appropriated for 15 gunboats for the Mississippi, remained unspent. The president then stated that a favorable and peaceful turn of affairs on the Mississippi rendered an immediate execution of that law unnecessary. Conditions changed from the time that the law was written and the funds were provided for. Now, he honestly, in that, he was not necessarily refusing to spend the money. He was basically saying that, hey, we need to delay this action because I see the possibility of getting better gunboats down the road, and conditions have changed, making this no longer an emergency. Now, a year later, he did go back and tell Congress, hey, money's being spent and we are buying the gunboats. Okay, we've bought them. Now, there have been a few other instances, so that was the first one, a few other instances in deferrals or refusals to spend that have occurred during the 19th and 20th centuries. But it wasn't up until the administration of President Franklin Roosevelt that a president refused to spend the monies for the purposes appropriated. Now, here's the thing. So if a law is created and money is funding, let's say a war act, and that war act, all of a sudden, battles change, things like that, that war act now is no longer applicable. And yet you are required to spend that money? I mean, seriously, let's just be honest here. That doesn't have anything to do with being very careful that the laws themselves are faithfully executed, or that that money is actually even spent appropriately. I'm not exactly sure, the 4 million or billion that they're talking about here is for stuff that honestly is not part of Article 1, Section 8 as a responsibility of the federal government. I mean, this is foreign aid, people. Why do we need to be spending our taxpayer dollars in foreign countries? What's the point? I don't see the need, especially if the conditions change in those foreign countries such that that money is no longer being spent in a positive way, meaning that there is no benefit to the American people. I honestly do not understand the idea here that, hey, you're going to spend $4 billion in aid to some foreign country that, I don't know, maybe the country doesn't exist anymore or whatever else. Again, I go back to the idea, which is essentially that, hey, the money that is supposed to be spent and collected on behalf of the United States government is only to be spent on items that exist in Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution. There has never, and you can look them all up, there's 27 of them, it's not that hard to read, but you can look, there's never been an amendment that basically says, hey, those, Article 1, Section 8, yeah, that's going to be amended, we're going to add these. We're going to add this other stuff. Yeah, no, folks. Congress makes the legislation and makes the legislative decisions. The president executes them. The president has the choice, if the execution is no longer valid, if that law is no longer valid, the president should have carte blanche to say, guess what, folks, we're not spending that money anymore. I'm going to return it back to Congress. And that's it. That's the way that things should work. I mean, again, Congress creates the laws, the president executes the laws. And by the way, too, just to take care in executing those laws, if the president can find out, hey, by the way, you know what, you guys allocated like $100 million and I only needed 75 million. So that additional 25 million, guess what? That's a benefit back to the American people, the American taxpayer. And we can either use that on something else that we normally would have, collected money for, or we can give it back as a rebate. There's nothing in the Constitution that says that being wise with the money is outside of the purview of not only the president, but also the Congress. I don't recall reading anywhere where it states that, hey, Congress, you know what, when you appropriate funds, yeah, all those funds have to be spent. Now, I know in terms of budgeting, and this happened quite often in the services would be like, hey, you know what? We were allocated $10 million and we only spent $9 million. So we got to figure out how to spend the other million so that we can go back to Congress and ask for at least that $10 million back for the following year. Yeah. Nope. So I honestly believe that the take care clause sort of gives the president, because he is executing the laws, at least a little bit of leeway in terms of the spending of the money. If he can do it much cheaper or better, then yeah, he's got to do that on behalf of the American people. You know, Congress and the presidents of old, especially the modern ones, have sort of lost all of that. They've sort of lost all of that. And, yeah, I don't understand why this should be that big of a deal and why there should even be a dissent. I mean, what? The president is going to say, hey, by the way, you know, my budget shows that we didn't spend, you know, these billions of dollars. And so you're going to require me to go ahead and spend them anyway. What the hell kind of bullshit does that make? I mean, I'm sorry, but no. It's totally stupid. Anyway. Well, Trump's getting impatient. Trump is getting impatient, and let me explain to you why. Trump has asked now for the Supreme Court to actually rule on birthright citizenship. Now, keep in mind, the Supreme Court is in their summer break. They start back up with oral arguments in the first week in October, okay? But his executive order from back in January stated that the Constitution does not extend citizenship to everyone born within the United States. But just as a side note, this was one of the things that Buddy and I disagreed with. Because Buddy was saying if you were born here, you are an automatic American citizen. And I, being the researcher and a little bit more on tap and needing to find the facts and analysis, have actually proven on this program that no, that is not the actual case. That Trump's executive order is the actual interpretation of what birthright citizenship was supposed to mean. You think I'm lying to you? Let me go ahead and show you what I am talking about. So back in the just after the Civil War, the Congress created the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. The 13th and the 14th were directly a response from the Dred Scott decision, a disastrous decision from the Supreme Court. And, yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, right here, I'm showing it on the screen, this is from the congressional record, the actual congressional record of the proposal of the 14th Amendment. Now, the man who was, who created the 14th, wrote the 14th, sponsored the 14th in the Senate, was a senator from Michigan named Mr. Howard. And Mr. Howard, as a part of the congressional record, said this when the 14th Amendment was first introduced into the Senate chamber to have a discussion and debate over the 14th Amendment. And I'm going to read it to you. It's right here on the screen, though, but I'm going to read it to you. It says, the First Amendment is to Section 1, declaring that all persons born in the United States, and this is the kicker, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, are citizens of the United States and of the states wherein they reside. Now, he continues. He says, I do not propose to say anything on that subject except that the question of citizenship has been so fully discussed in this body as to not need further elucidation, in my opinion. This amendment, which I have offered, is simply declaratory of what I regard as the law of the land already. That every person born within the United States, within the limits of the United States, and subject to their jurisdiction, is by virtue of natural law and national law a citizen of the United States. Now, here's part of the problem, or here's where he continues. This will not, of course, include persons born in the United States who are foreigners, aliens, who belong to the families of ambassadors or foreign ministers accredited to the government of the United States, but will include every other class of persons. It settles the great question of citizenship and removes all doubt as to what persons are or are not citizens of the United States. Now that's the key. In his mind and the mind, as he admits, that has already been discussed and talked about ad nauseum, he has already said, this distinguished body has already come to the agreement that to be a citizen of the United States, you cannot be foreign born. You cannot be an alien. You cannot be a family of an ambassador or a foreign minister. You cannot be those things. Okay? You cannot be those things. So what does this mean? Well, this pretty much means that if you are born of parents who are not nationalized here in the United States, or have any other legal validation of permanent residency here in the United States, and this is exactly where the case that everybody tries to quote is missing. And I read the opinion. You cannot be of foreign birth here in the United States and automatically become an American citizen. It is not possible. That isn't what the 14th Amendment was supposed to do. And this is simply what the executive order that Trump put out back in January stated. The petition that he filed will hopefully, he filed it yesterday, the Trump administration filed it yesterday, will hopefully take care of this. Trump's executive order 14160 was signed on January 20th, states that the 14th Amendment has never been interpreted to extend citizenship universally to every person born within the United States. And he's right. As I've stated multiple times, this president is one of the most constitutional presidents that we have seen of the last three. He knows this. He knows this. This is, I don't know how much more clear we can possibly make this. And I can't remember the case, but it had to deal with a family, a Chinese family, which at the time that the case was heard, by the way, that Chinese family, one, the parents of this guy were permanent residents because the country of China did not allow for people to renounce their citizenship. And so the question was whether or not the child of a permanent resident who was Chinese would be considered an American citizen. It was not the child of a foreign individual living here in the United States under the auspices of, illegality or whatever, became a child of the United States. That's not what the Wong, now I just remembered it. It's Wong Kim Ark case. The Wong Kim Ark case clearly stated in the opinion, the final opinion, that because the Chinese parents were permanent residents and because they could not renounce their citizenship to China, that the son, Wong Kim Ark, was a United States citizen, having been born here. Because again, the key point there is they had permanent residency status, legal permanent residency status, which means that if you were born here under illegal parents who came here illegally, neither one of them being a naturalized citizen or a natural born citizen of the United States. And by natural born, that means your parents have to be, at least one of them have to be American citizens, which is why all of the Trump kids are American citizens, because Donald Trump is an American citizen. See, this is where everybody has been like, they've been so enamored with this idea that an alien can come across here and, drop a baby, and that baby automatically becomes an American citizen. This should have been argued back when DACA was started. That's when it should have been argued. But they didn't. Hopefully, the SCOTUS is going to take it up. And hopefully they will look at the historical significance of this paper right here. It clearly states the person who was advocating for and sponsoring the 14th Amendment clearly states this is not for foreigners or aliens. End of story. All right, folks. Let me go ahead and do this. I woke up this morning, and of course, as always, I grabbed my big 16-ounce cup of coffee. That's right, my big old cup that says "Father like no other," given to me by my children. I love my children very much. They are very special to me, and it's incredible. I drink coffee every single morning. I can't start a morning without it, otherwise I'll get a headache. That's what caffeine does to you. But if you still haven't tried 1775 coffee, now is your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. There's a limited number of units available. And in each unit, you're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard. You're also going to receive the smooth medium roast, and you can also try out the Vitality Mushroom Coffee for clean energy and laser focus with no crash. And this is a great thing because you can try all three of them and decide which one or two, or even if you like all three, you can mix and match for as much as you want. All of them are single origin, small batch, toxin free, and mold free. Plus, you're also going to be receiving as a part of the kit, my favorite, the gold spoon clip, because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. a frother that's strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions. Or even your mother's if she really is very opinionated. You'll also receive a black 1775 tumbler. It's $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for just the low, low price of $99. This is for the ones who have been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble and wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler alert, it is. Go to 1775 Coffee. That's the numbers, 1775. Then the word coffee altogether, .com/studio. For those that don't know, that / is your question mark key on your keyboard. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they are gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Rumble does. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio, STUDIO, and grab your starter kit. That's 1775coffee.com/studio, STUDIO, and grab your starter kit today. All right. So, I don't know if this really should have ended up in the Moron files or not. I have no idea, but the media have really gotten this anti-ICE shooting in Dallas absolutely wrong. So, according to the media, they keep reporting that the anti-ICE shooter's motive is, quote, unclear. Excuse me. The shooter left a frickin' note saying that he hoped his attack would give federal agents real terror, and he wrote on the bullets, anti-ICE. I mean, what? These people, I swear, they wouldn't have been able to get any kind of, they're so blind and so stupid. They wouldn't even be able to, I mean, if a news story, a real news story had slapped him in the face, they wouldn't even know what to do with it. I mean, that's how bad our news media is today. So, yeah. And by the way, the FBI announced that soon after the politically motivated attack about the anti-ICE on one of his bullets. Law enforcement officials, of course, later revealed that he left that note saying that he hoped the attack would give ICE agents real terror and inflict maximum lethality against ICE personnel. Well, all of the mainstream media outlets nonetheless portrayed his motive as unclear. Just like the Charlie Kirk murderer. His motive is unclear. Really? Yeah, I should have stuck this in the Moron files, really. I mean, this is totally stupid. I just can't even imagine. How can you not know what this guy did? How can you not know? Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine. So, yeah. NPR. Oh, wait, here. Let me read some of these quotes from the different outlets. Here in the New York Times, on Wednesday, Mr. Vance and others leaned on a post by FBI Director Kash Patel that showed a clip of rifle caliber ammunition with one casing having a message on it that read anti-ICE in what appeared to be blue writing. The actual motivation behind the messages written on the bullets in both Mr. Kirk's assassination and Wednesday's killing are still not known. Really, New York Times? Really? They're still not known. Then they also continue and say, and the Times has not confirmed details shedding light on the ammunition casing in Dallas. Here's NPR. Authorities haven't indicated a specific motive, but they did release a picture of 5 unspent bullet casings found at the scene, and one had the words anti-ICE. Immigration and immigrants have been at the center of the political divide, often portrayed in a negative light. And yesterday, some immigrants became victims of this political rhetoric. Well, the reason why they became victims is because they were in an enclosed van and the guy didn't know who the hell he was shooting at. Oh, here's a better one. Axios. The rush to point fingers before local police confirm a motive or the identity of the victims mirrors the rush to assign blame following the Charlie Kirk death and reflects the fears of rising political violence in the U.S. There is rising political violence in the U.S., and it's all coming from you leftist morons! Ugh. Here from the Associated Press, investigators were seeking to determine the motive. Yeah. Well, one guy, of course, who has taken some shots for this, but one guy, of course, in the government is definitely, yeah, he's not taking it anymore. He's sort of like well, who was it? It wasn't quite right. God, what was the name of the band? We're not going to take it. I can't remember. Anyway, he's not going to take it. Well, he's speaking at the Dallas ICE facility. He is speaking on behalf of the administration, and believe me, he can do it. This is Vice President J.D. Vance at the ICE facility speaking on it. Let's take a listen to his words.
And I think that is the most disgusting thing. The very people who keep us safe ought to be honored and protected and praised by Democrats and Republicans alike. It is time to stop the rhetorical assault on law enforcement. Because here's what happens. Because here's what happens when Democrats like Gavin Newsom did say that these people are part of an authoritarian government. When the left-wing media lies about what they're doing, when they lie about who they're arresting, when they lie about the actual job of law enforcement, what they're doing is encouraging crazy people to go and commit violence. You don't have to agree with my immigration policies. You don't have to agree with Donald Trump's immigration policies. But if your political rhetoric encourages violence against our law enforcement, you can go straight to hell, and you have no place in the political conversation of the United States of America.
Hell yeah. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I prefer J.D. Vance's style of speaking over Donald Trump's. I'm just saying. And as of right now, he's saying the correct things, and he is doing the correct things. And I think that, yeah, this guy has a damn good chance of winning the Republican nomination in 2028. He's certainly a hell of a lot better than the last guy that Trump had, Mike Pence. Have you noticed J.D. Vance is actually in front of the cameras a hell of a lot more than Mike Pence ever was? I mean, I honestly can't even remember, believe it or not, I can't even remember a really good speech that Mike Pence has ever given. I've seen clips of J.D. Vance all over the place. Yeah, he's not sitting on his hands. He's certainly not sitting on his ass. He is doing the job, and he is preparing to be. I fully agree with this. He is preparing to be the next president, for sure. You know, the left sits there and talks about all of these, all these raids and everything else. He sits there and talks about all of these, you know, oh, well, they were going after Americans. Going after Americans. And yet, for some damn reason, we seem to be finding illegal aliens in places where literally they shouldn't be. And I'm not talking about just the ones that we know about, like the criminals, the MS-13 gang members, and so on and so forth. I'm talking about the ones that have slipped under the radar because of the lack of enforcement by the Biden administration, for sure. And all I can tell you is this. I think you should take pause when you see headlines such as this. ICE arrested the superintendent of the largest school district in Iowa. What the hell? How did this guy get to be the superintendent of the largest school district in Iowa? Apparently, ICE arrested the superintendent of the Des Moines, Iowa schools, Ian Andre Roberts, who was an illegal alien, from Guyana. Immigration officials issued Roberts a deportation order back in May of 2024. Des Moines School Board Director Jackie Norris announced on Friday morning that the Associate Superintendent, Matt Smith, will step in as the interim superintendent. So apparently this guy began serving as superintendent in July of 2023 after previously working as the interim superintendent during the 2022 and 2023 school year. But before his career in the education field, this guy was a member of the Guyana Olympic team for track and field. He competed in the 2000 Sydney Games as a mid-distance runner. Now, the senior ICE official that was talking about this revealed that Roberts first came to the United States on a student visa back in 1991. He attended St. John's University. Immigration enforcement ordered Roberts removed from the country in May 22nd of 2024. A Texas immigration judge denied the attempt to reopen the case in April of 2025. Now, police had arrested Roberts back in 2020 on a weapons charge, adding to his record long before this scandal broke, according to this piece in PJ Media. Now, if he was already in the country illegally, how did he manage to get his hands on a firearm? That's a good question. That's a damn good question. How was it that Roberts was allowed to work in this government position, by the way? This is a government now, city government, without being a citizen of the United States, or at the very minimum, having the legal authorization to work stateside. Is it possible that his hiring was the result of DEI policies? They're asking in this piece. Regardless of the how, what does matter is the fact that ICE is actually carrying out its mission and in the process making the nation safer. The U.S. itself is a nation of laws, and I agree with this. We are a nation of laws. We have a level of respect for those laws. If a person crosses the border illegally, he demonstrates a lack of care or concern for our country's sovereignty and our laws. A nation that does not have secure borders is not a nation. We're not even a country. We're just land that somebody has inhabited. It's the task of the federal government to ensure the safety of its citizens. It is also the task of the federal government, because this actually shows up in Article 1, Section 8, that the Congress is supposed to make up immigration policy. They have done so. It's called the Immigration and Naturalization Act. As a part of that Immigration and Naturalization Act, you cannot cross the border illegally, nor can you overstay your visas. You need to update the visa or deport your ass and then reapply and come back. I mean, this is totally ridiculous. There's not one person that I can think of in terms of the Democrats who would ever actually be on the side of this. And this guy is in charge of kids. What the hell? He's in charge of an entire school district. Give me a break. Now, the left is likely to call this racism because the guy is from Guyana. He's clearly black in the photo. Yeah, this is so crazy. We need to understand, too, that living in America, regardless of how you got here, living in America is a privilege. This is the greatest country on the planet. This is the greatest country of opportunity on the planet. You can do things here that you would be dreaming of in other countries. And yet, the vast majority, especially of those born here, act as though this is not a privilege and treat it as though the United States of America is a trash can. When everything that you have, everything that you do, from the rights that are enshrined in the Constitution to the plain and simple fact that you can go out and purchase any kind of tech gear that you want and can afford for any reason. We are the most technologically advanced. We have the most upward mobility. You have the ability to train yourself, whether it's skill-wise or education-wise, to take on the opportunities no matter what your skin color is, regardless of what the left tells you. If you're willing to work for it and put the energy into it, you're going to succeed. You will find your way to success. And to sit here and try and say that, yeah, the American people, America is no longer the land of the free, the home of the brave, and no longer the land of opportunity. You need to open up your eyes and realize there is no other country on this earth. We talked about it last Saturday. There is no other constitution like ours. There have been several that have been tried to be patterned after. Not one of them copied the entire Constitution in its entirety. There is no other place on earth like America. And it's just a privilege to be here. All right, one last thing really quick before I get to a Where's Whiskey segment. I just want you to know that just like with Google, okay, you got to be careful with your search engines. You've got to be careful with where you draw from in terms of your sources of information. You can't even trust any of the AIs that are out there right now, because even, some people would say, oh, well, X, Grok on X, that's a right-wing one. No, folks. No, it's not. It's programmed by leftists, trust me. I've had the conversation with them before. And by that, I mean with Grok directly about it. All you have to do is look at the or acquire the listing of the sources that Grok uses for its information, and you'll see 90% of it is leftist outlets like Reuters, Al Jazeera, I can't even, the MSNBC, ABC, so on and so forth, because of the predominance of all of these people. But you also can't trust things like Wikipedia. So many people on the socials, they all quote Wikipedia, and they say, hey, Wikipedia, see, Wikipedia said this, said that, said whatever. Well, this piece in Breitbart shows you how wrong that actually is. Right here, Wikipedia editors spread lies about Charlie Kirk following the assassination. Following the assassination of the Turning Point USA co-founder Charlie Kirk, Wikipedia editors made malicious edits about him, even as his page was locked to inexperienced editors, with former members of Wikipedia's Supreme Court and co-founder Jimmy Wales monitoring the page. This included mocking Kirk's last words, accusing him of targeted harassment campaigns, and the latter staying in the page's introduction for days. Wikipedia editors have added denigrating smears about Kirk to articles about him since the assassination. Pages about Kirk and the assassination were locked early on to prevent malicious edits by new and less experienced editors, but efforts to smear Kirk have continued nonetheless. This came amid thousands of edits being made to both Kirk's page, viewed nearly 40 million times since his death, and the assassination page, viewed nearly 8 million times. Kirk's assassination was mentioned prominently on Wikipedia's front page in its news section for 5 days, with his image being up for over a day, focusing considerably more attention on both articles. I'm telling you, folks. I'm telling you. Wikipedia is garbage. Universities won't even allow you to quote from it. There's a reason for that, because just about anybody, and you can see even when they lock it down, it's still apparently open to people. Just about anybody can go and post whatever they want. And if they don't cite where they got it from, you'll get an error message, or a warning message, I should say, that says, hey, this article does need citations. But nobody freaking cares, apparently. See, not everything you read on the internet is true. Not everything you see and read on the internet is actual facts. Facts and evidence. And this is just one example. So I'm going to tell you, if you are a leftist and you come into my page or engage me on X or any other social media and you post anything from Wikipedia, yeah, you're automatically discounted. You're done. And if you post anything from a mainstream media outlet that is a known leftist propagandist outlet, yeah, you're done there too. Post actual facts. Post reality. Don't post bullshit. Because that's how these AIs are all learning about all this stuff. See, what you don't understand is those AIs are machine learning models, or language learning models. And what they do is they go through and they scour the web for topics, phrases, whatever. And that's what they use as their proof or evidence. I've seen more Grok, OpenAI, ChatGPT bullshit and falsehoods than I have seen them actually get it correct. So don't trust those sources. Look for reliable sources. Sources that you know are going to be reliable and verify all of those facts and evidence. Or you yourself go through and verify. Trust, but verify. By at least 2, potentially 3 other sources, for sure. All right, folks, let's do a Where's Whiskey really quick. This one comes in from Kat Pekarik. That's right, Kat and I believe her husband are out running about in American Perspective gear. And there it is. So where do you think this is? I can tell you it's somewhere on the water. It's somewhere on the water, and there's some sort of a jetty sticking out, but obviously it must be pretty cold. I mean, and they're up against some bars, so they got to be on some sort of a dock or whatever. And unfortunately, Kat is not here to be able to tell us where they are located. But here, I'm gonna back this out just a little bit so you can see. Maybe somebody somewhere can tell me. It looks like they might be, I'm not sure. Could this be like Florida? It seems pretty flat to me. Maybe it is on the East Coast somewhere. I don't know. This is going to be an interesting question. If somebody knows Kat or can contact her, maybe we'll get an answer by the next show. But I just had to throw it off anyway because it's American Perspective gear that she's wearing. So there you go. All right, folks, that is it for me for this evening. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free, and once you are signed up and signed in, make sure you search up the American Perspective channel. Hit that green follow button to get notified every time I go live. Also, too, don't forget on your way out, hit those thumbs up or thumbs down if you're really interested, or if you're 3 Chevy and a Rebel, hit the thumb sideways. Either way. We will see you Monday. We will see you Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on American Perspective. Have a great rest of your weekend, and good night, everybody.